You've been in quite a few iconic films and TV shows, like Callisto in X-Men, The Last Stand, and as Maya Herrera in Heroes. And now you're part of the American Pie franchise. How was that experience?
It's very exciting. For me, I love to be the new girl in things. Because there's really no expectation, you're already being a part of something that you really know. You're working with actors that you sort of always looked up to, so it's always just exciting. It's more exciting than anything. And even the nerves, if you have any, are kind of good nerves. And I was a fan of the first one. I remember where I was when I watched it. I remember people that I was with. So I felt really a sense of nostalgia even when I was reading the script, because I grew up with these characters of American Pie, I grew up with those relationships and wanting to find out where they've been and where they're at now. So it was an interesting journey. I was just excited to be a part of it. And I was excited to be a Latina, finally.
Exactly.
In the American Pie, franchise. Representing the Latinos over here. We're American, too.
There you go. So now that you've done this and you've been in these other iconic roles, which role do you get recognized most for?
I'm such a normal person. When I walk down the street, nobody recognizes. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing that I don't get recognized. I think I like the fact that I don't get trailed by paparazzi, but I think I've missed out on some of the perks.
Yeah, I understand the paparazzi part, yes.
I think, it all depends on what kind of crowd it is. If I'm more around New York, people tend to recognize me from Sopranos a lot. Because people, New Yorkers are such hardcore Soprano fans. And now I've played so many different roles. I go from playing superheroes to playing Alex Turtle's love interest on Entourage. It's like a completely different person. And in LA, I get recognized for Entourage a lot more than anything else. Heroes, overall, I have to say, no matter where I'm at in the world, that's the one that I'm most
recognized for?
Yeah, I've been in London and people are like, oh, Maya from Heroes. You know what I mean? So I think, that's definitely a show that globally got me recognition.
I can see it. It was very a universal TV show, definitely. So can we talk a little about Devious Maids?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you also about Premium Rush. Premium Rush coming out on August 24th. It's myself, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Michael Shannon. And I play this sort of badass Dominican bike messenger with a heart of gold, I like to call her. So she's in love with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, but she's sort of like a really hardcore biker in New York City. And I go back to that action thriller that for some reason I always get drawn back to. I love it because I don't know if you know this about me, but I played volleyball in college, so I'm very athletic and I'm into that whole competitive thing,
We see it in your stature.
Yeah, exactly. Then also, I'm excited. We'll hopefully start shooting in the next couple of months. Devious Maids, created by Marc Cherry, and I'm excited to get an opportunity to play a role that I can relate to and that I feel like it's been not only well written, but really taken care of. My role, I play Rosie Falta, and she plays this Mexican woman that's here in the United States, and she's left her son back in Mexico. And her whole goal, she's someone of a lot of integrity and hard worker. She works as a maid for this high-end Beverly Hills there's a whole comedy within that whole thing too, but it's sort of making fun of more of the high class versus the working class, and the high class being these kind of people that are caught up in their world. The couple that I work for, one of them is a woman that's a young actress whose career is taking off, and she's married to this soap opera actor, and so they have their issues, and they have a kid, and I end up sort of being the nanny for the child. But my main focus and purpose throughout the whole journey of my character is to try to reunite with my kid that's back in Mexico. And I'm doing everything that I can and keeping my integrity and just doing hard work like a lot of Latin people do in the States, and trying to get my son to come in from Mexico. And for me, I related to that character because, I was born in Dominican Republic, and my parents moved here when I was 6 months old. I was raised by my grandmother back in the Dominican Republic, but, if it wasn't my mom, worked in a factory, my dad was a taxi driver at one point, they did every job they had to do. But their main goal was to make sure that I had a brighter future. And without that story, I would be to where I'm at. So I related to that particular character because of that.
I think a lot of us relate to that I was raised by my great-grandmother because my mom came here. So I understand
exactly. It's a very common thing in the Latino community also, right?
Yeah, very, very. Hey, are there any rich Latinos on the show?
Originally, the pilot that we shot, one of the bosses, which is Rosalind Sanchez's boss, was a Latino girl, and she was like a pop star. To be honest with you, I'm excited to be a part of a show that someone created that allows work for 4 Latino actresses. It's just another vehicle for talented Latino women to be able to showcase their talent, to have a voice. Because we're here, we're in Hollywood, but we don't have as much of a voice as anybody thinks, and everybody can go into their own worlds and feel like they have their own integrities, but at the end of the day, we have to be supportive of each other no matter what. African Americans do it all the time. Support your people in everything they do so that we can create roles for other Latinos. I have a show right now called Bad Dad, Single Parent, and, he's trying to keep custody of his child going through a divorce. And I'm producing it with Wilma Valderrama. And my lead girl is a lawyer. I get a voice. Unless people care about who Dania Ramirez is, I can't get that show in the air. You know what I mean?
Right. So
at the end of the day, I'm excited that I have a vehicle now that I can showcase my talents and to hopefully get known worldwide so that I can actually have more of a say, so that I can create more roles, so I can create more characters by someone that actually cares about wanting to represent every single person in the Latino community. I think it's important to actually make sure that we let our people know, like, we need your support. We're here, but there's only a few roles that are available, and unless we can actually continue to make an impact and people know that our people care to watch us, our people are going to show up and support us. I would love for you to go get, American Pie. American Reunion is just as funny as all the other American Pies. If you haven't catch, if you didn't catch everything the first time, go back and watch it. Get the DVD July 10th. And most importantly, there's a lot of deleted scenes that you guys can watch DVD. So that's exciting.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.